All right, you fire freaks, buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the 2017 California wildfires.
Yeah, the year the Golden State decided to live up to its nickname.
We've got a whole damn stack of research reports, first-hand accounts, the whole 9 yards.
We're gonna figure out what the hell went down, why it matters, and why you should give a damn.
So, California wildfires, that's like a Tuesday, right?
Well, true, California's always been a tinderbox, but
Part of its charm, right?
yeah, not always this bad. Before the gold rush, you had natural fires, cleaning things up.
Burning like a...
About 4.5 million acres a year.
Oh, so those tree huggers were onto something.
Oh, it was a natural cycle. Kept the underbrush in check. Native Americans even used controlled burns.
Like forest gardening.
Exactly. Then the gold rush hit, and we thought we knew better.
Like we could control nature.
Yeah, we suppressed fires thinking we were smarter than Mother Nature.
That's rich.
Fast forward to 2017, and what do you have?
One hell of a bonfire.
We had a shit ton of fuel just waiting for a spark.
It's always a spark, isn't it?
Always. And to make matters worse, 2017 started with a ton of rain.
Rain in California.
I know, right?
Almost unheard of.
Floods, even. But all that rain,
Caused the fires.
well, not directly. All that water led to a crazy amount of new growth.
Which turned into...
To tinder,
So Mother Nature gave California a big green middle finger.
pretty much. And then to add insult to injury, you've got the Santa Ana winds.
Oh yeah, those bastards.
It's like a giant hairdryer on max heat, drying everything out and whipping up the flames.
Get you pissed off, and guess who gets to pay for it?
We do $18 billion in damages.
18 billion. We could have had a hell of a party with that.
More than the previous 9 years combined.
Seriously.
The second most expensive wildfire season in California's history at the time.
That's a lot of Glen cash.
And it's not just the money. We're talking live lost homes destroyed.
Yeah, the whole damn ecosystem went up in smoke. Let's talk about those mega fires everyone's freaking out about.
Right. October 2017, over 245,000 acres burned.
That's a lot of acreage.
5 of the top 20 most destructive fires in California's history happened that year.
Like the Tubbs fire.
Exactly, ripped through Napa and Sonoma. Over 5,600 structures, gone, 22 people dead.
Napa and Sonoma, all those fancy vineyards.
Gone wine grapes, they're super sensitive to smoke.
Smoke taint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It screws with the taste of the grapes, makes them useless for winemaking.
So not only were people losing their homes, they were losing their livelihoods too.
Exactly. It was a total disaster.
So we're talking billions in damages. People losing their homes, businesses, not to mention the poor bastards who lost their lives.
It was a real wake-up call.
Yeah, a wake-up call that smelled like smoke and ash.
It showed us that wildfires aren't some abstract problem. They have real consequences for real people.
Right, so we've talked about the fuel buildup, the
Yeah.
rain, the Santa Ana wines.
Hmm.
But what about climate change?
It's a huge factor.
Isn't that supposed to be making things worse?
Absolutely. Climate change is like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Hotter temperatures, drier conditions, more extreme weather events.
So we're basically screwed.
It's not looking good. Climate models predict that California is going to keep getting hotter and drier.
More fuel for the fire.
Exactly. Which means more extreme weather and more goddamn fires.
So it's not a matter of if, but when the next inferno breaks out.
Pretty much. And these fires are getting bigger and more intense. We're talking mega fires that can burn for weeks or even months, consuming hundreds of thousands of acres.
Damn. So what can we do about it? Are we just supposed to sit back and watch the whole state burn?
There are things we can do, but they require a major shift in thinking. We need to start managing our forests better, reducing the fuel load through controlled burns and thinning.
Controlled burns, like those hippie Native Americans used to do.
Exactly. They knew what they were doing. We also need to create defensible spaces around communities and build homes with fire-resistant materials.
Sounds like a lot of work and a lot of money.
It is. But the alternative is far worse. We can't afford to ignore this problem any longer.
All right, so let's say we get our shit together and start managing the forest better. Is that enough to stop these mega fires?
It's a good start, but we also need to address the root cause climate change. We need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions transition to renewable energy and stop fucking with the planet's thermostat.
Yeah, climate change. That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But let's be real, a lot of people still think it's a hoax.
It's not a hoax. The science is clear. We're seeing the effects of climate change all around us, from rising sea levels to more extreme weather events. And wildfires are a big part of that.
All right, so we've got a lot of work to do. Manage the forests, fight climate change. Sounds daunting.
It is, but it's not impossible. We have the technology and the knowledge to make a difference. What we need now is the will.
The will and maybe a few $1 billion.
That too.
Okay, so we've talked about the causes and the consequences, but what about the human impact?
Yeah.
What's it like to actually live through one of these infernos?
It's terrifying. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the smell of smoke, seeing flames approaching your home, having to evacuate with just the clothes on your back.
Fuck, that's heavy.
It is. And the trauma doesn't end when the fire is out. People lose their homes, their businesses, their livelihoods. They have to rebuild their lives from scratch.
And then there's the emotional toll,
Yeah.
dealing with the loss, the fear, the uncertainty.
Exactly. The psychological impact of these fires can be just as devastating as the physical damage. People suffer from PTSD, anxiety, depression.
So it's not just about the immediate danger, it's about the long-term consequences.
Right. These fires leave scars, both physical and emotional, that can take years, even decades to heal.
All right, so we're back, and we've been talking about the 2017 California wildfires, how they started, why they were so bad, and the impact they had on people's lives. It's some seriously heavy shit. So where do we go from here? Is California just destined to burn?
Well, it's not a hopeless situation, but it requires a major shift in how we think about wildfires. For starters, we need to get back to understanding the natural role of fire in these ecosystems.
You're talking about those controlled burns the Native Americans used to do?
Exactly. They understood that fire is a natural part of the landscape. By regularly burning off underbrush and smaller trees, they prevented those massive fuel buildups that we see today. It's like they were gardening with fire, keeping things in check.
So we basically screwed up by trying to put out every little spark.
Pretty much. We've spent decades suppressing fires thinking we were doing the right thing, but all we did was create a tinderbox waiting to explode.
All right, so we need to start burning shit again. But what about climate change? That's got to be playing a role, right?
Absolutely. Climate change is like throwing gasoline on the fire. It's making things hotter, drier, and more extreme, and that means bigger, more intense wildfires.
So even if we get our shit together with forest management, we're still screwed if we don't address climate change.
That's the reality. We need to attack this problem from both sides, manage the forests better, and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay, so we need to plant more trees, burn some shit down, and stop driving our gas-guzzling SUVs. Sounds like a tall order.
It is, but it's not impossible. We have the technology, the resources, and the knowledge. What we need is the political will to make it happen.
The will and probably a shit ton of money.
Yeah, money helps, but ultimately it comes down to changing our mindset. We need to start seeing fire as a tool, not just an enemy. We need to invest in long-term solutions, not just quick fixes, and we need to start taking climate change seriously before it's too late.
Damn, that's a lot to chew on.
It is. But these are complex problems that require complex solutions. There's no easy answer, no silver bullet. It's going to take a lot of hard work, commitment, and maybe a little bit of luck.
Well, on that note of cautious optimism, I think it's time to wrap up this fiery deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from the history of wildfires in California to the role of climate change to what we can do to prevent future disasters. It's been a wild ride, and hopefully you've learned a thing or two along the way.
I hope so too. And I hope it inspires some action, because we all have a role to play in protecting our forests and our planet.
All right, folks, there you have it. Another deep dive into a topic that's sure to keep you up at night. Just remember, if you ever find yourself in the middle of a wildfire, stay calm, follow evacuation orders, and try not to set yourself on fire. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and try not to accidentally start any more goddamn fires.